Hey everyone, and welcome back to the English Prep Podcast. You know, one of the biggest things that comes up for anyone learning English, especially if you're thinking about taking a test like IELTS or TOEFL, is how do I actually get better at understanding spoken English? Like really get it, you know?
So that's a key skill, isn't it? And it's something that I think a lot of people find really intimidating, especially at that intermediate level.
Yeah, totally. So today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. We're going to be focusing on some super practical things you can start doing, like right now, at home, to really boost those listening skills.
It's not just about passing a test, though, is it? It's about being able to confidently, engage with the world in English, to have conversations, watch movies, maybe even listen to the news and actually follow what's going on.
Exactly. And the great thing is, you don't have to spend hours and hours on this. Even just making a few small changes to how you practice can make a huge difference.
And a difference you'll feel pretty quickly, too. I mean, just imagine going from struggling to keep up with a conversation to being able to, well, almost effortlessly understand what people are saying.
Yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh, no.
So let's break down how to actually get there. First things first, I think a lot of people underestimate just how important the right environment is for good listening practice.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
If you're trying to listen to something challenging, like a podcast or a lecture, and there's noise all around you.
Yeah, forget it. You're not going to absorb anything.
Right. So finding a quiet space where you can really focus, that's step one. Even popping on some headphones can help to kind of block out the world for a bit.
And I know it sounds obvious, but actually sticking to a routine helps too, right? Like, even if it's just 15, 20 minutes every day.
Oh, way more effective than trying to cram in like 2 hours once a week. Little and often, that's the key.
Yeah.
And these days, there's just so much good stuff out there you can listen to. Podcasts, YouTube videos, language learning apps,
There's almost too much choice sometimes, isn't there? So where do you even begin?
Well, I think it's important to mix things up a bit. Don't just stick to one type of material,
Yeah.
Because different types of audio will challenge you in different ways.
So, like, don't just listen to podcasts all the time.
Exactly. Like podcasts and audiobooks are great for getting used to natural speech, different paces, the way people use intonation. And the good thing is you can find them on pretty much any topic you can imagine.
Oh, that's so true. Okay, but what about if you need to understand, say, more formal English, like if you're going to be studying or working in an academic setting?
Then you want to look at things like online lectures and webinars. Lots of universities put those online for free, and they'll give you a good sense of how people use language in a more academic context.
Got it. And on the flip side, if you want to get better at understanding more casual conversations, what do you recommend?
Oh, movies and TV shows are fantastic for that, especially if you start off by using subtitles. It kind of helps your brain connect the written word with the spoken word. And then, as you get more confident, you can ditch the subtitles and just focus on the audio.
Makes sense. Oh, and music too, right? That can be a really fun way to pick up new vocabulary and even different accents.
Absolutely. The key is to really immerse yourself in the language. But remember, it's not enough to just passively listen. You've got to be actively engaged with what you're hearing.
So what does that actually look like?
Well, one simple but really effective thing you can do is take notes while you're listening. Not like pages and pages, but just jot down key words or phrases to help you remember the main points.
So almost like creating your own little summary as you go.
Exactly. And after you finish listening something, try to actually summarize what you heard in your own words. This is so good for checking your understanding and also, helping that information really sink in.
And I guess if there's a part you didn't quite catch, you can always rewind and listen to it again.
Oh, absolutely. Don't be afraid to do that. Now, another technique I find super helpful is something called shadowing.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Isn't that where you kind of repeat what you're hearing?
You got it. So you're basically trying to speak along with the recording, almost like an echo. Now, it might feel a bit weird at first.
I can imagine.
But honestly, it is so good for your pronunciation, for getting that natural rhythm of English, and just for, tuning your ear to the nuances of how native speakers talk.
So how do you actually do it? Like, do you start with a whole movie or something?
Oh, no. Start small. Just pick a short audio clip, maybe a minute or two, and really focus on copying the speaker as closely as you can. Their pronunciation, their intonation, where they put the stress in each sentence. It's really about paying attention to the details.
I like that. And it kind of makes you slow down and think about how you're speaking too, right?
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of slowing down, that could be a really useful technique if you're struggling with, say, a particular accent or a speaker who talks really fast.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one, isn't it?
Totally. Most audio players have a speed control. So you could just slow things down a bit until you get used to the pace. And then you can gradually speed it back up as you get more comfortable.
And I guess sometimes it's not even the speed, it's just the accent itself that can be tough to understand.
Oh, absolutely. But the good news is, the more you expose yourself to different accents, the easier it becomes to tune your ear to them. So again, listen to a variety of things. British podcasts, American movies, Australian news, mix it up.
And what about all those specialized words you come across? Like, if you're listening to a podcast about, I don't know, astrophysics or something, and suddenly there are all these terms you've never heard before.
Ah, yes, the vocabulary hurdle. It's a good idea to keep a vocabulary notebook handy and jot down any new words or phrases you encounter. Then you can look them up later and try to use them in your own speaking and writing.
Right, so it's all about actively building up your vocabulary bank.
Exactly. And don't forget, listening is a mental workout, so it's important to take breaks and not try to do too much at once. If you find yourself getting tired or zoning out, step away for a bit and come back to it later when you're feeling refreshed.
That makes total sense. Okay, so we've talked about setting the stage for good listening practice, finding a variety of materials, and some active listening techniques. Now, for those of you who are specifically prepping for a listening test, are there any extra tips you'd give?
Definitely. First off, make sure you know the format of the test inside and out. Like, what types of questions are they going to ask? How much time do you have for each section? You can usually find sample tests online, so practice with those under-timed conditions to get a real feel for the pressure of the test environment.
That's so important, isn't it? Knowing what to expect can really help calm those nerves.
Totally. And during the test itself, try to stay calm and focused. If you miss a question, don't let it throw you off. Just take a deep breath and move on to the next one. You can always come back to it later if you have time.
Right. And if there's time at the end, make sure you double-check your answers, right?
Yes. Always worth a quick review if you can. Now, one of the things that can really trip people up on listening tests is background noise. I mean, think about it. In real life, there's almost always some kind of noise going on around you.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like traffic, people talking, music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea to practice listening in different environments to get used to filtering out distractions. Try listening to a podcast while you're cooking dinner or doing the laundry. Anything to get your brain used to focusing on the main audio, even when there are other sounds competing for your attention.
That's a great tip. Now, before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are on their English learning journey?
Absolutely. Remember, everyone learns differently, so find what works best for you and stick with it. Set realistic goals, be consistent with your practice, and most importantly, don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process.
Couldn't agree more. And remember, getting better at listening isn't just about, passing a test or sounding more fluent. It's about unlocking a whole new level of understanding and connection with the world around you.
Exactly. It opens up so many doors, from having deeper conversations to appreciating different cultures to, just feeling more confident and comfortable in your own skin.
That's beautifully put. So, to all our amazing listeners out there, keep practicing, keep exploring, and most importantly, happy listening.
Happy listening.
We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the world of English learning. Until then, take care.